She didn't just have, immaculate conception. Why do you think that's the case?
I think the problem comes with the fact that the woman is always going to be a mother. Like you said initially, we have to be that role of mothers, and our child is always going to be joined to us. And so women lose a lot more, I believe, personally, than a man once a pregnancy like that happens. Because it's much harder for her to leave the child than it is for the man. And so, because she loses so much more, I think that's why people see it so much more worse for her than for the man, I think.
And I think it has a little to do with people expect the woman to be more mature, more to handle it, to handle that situation. And when they see a girl pregnant, they're like, oh, she wasn't smart, you have to be smarter than that. And with the guy, they're like, oh, he's a guy, it happens. They don't really expect the guy to be mature. They're kind of like, oh.
Or she was just a little
blank.
Beep.
That wasn't very nice, Miss Antoinette.
But I'm saying, like she slept around with a lot of guys and that she got pregnant, So you said we couldn't use the word. I can't use the word.
So, okay, but once again, going back, is the man a bleep?
He should be titled that, but in the world's eye, he's not.
Why?
He's a player. Go ahead. Personally, I was a teenage mother, and I did have people look down at me.
How'd that make you feel?
It really made me feel horrible. Because I was like, why did I get myself in that situation? But I had to really surround myself around positive people, and I had to build myself up. Because I was told I wasn't going to finish school. I was told I would be on welfare the rest of my life, and I was told a lot of negative things that even the news they have that on the air all the time, and you see it on different shows, how these people, they just keep having babies after babies, and I was told that would be my life. So I had to purpose within myself, no, that's not going to be me. So I graduated from high school on time.
Good job.
With 2 babies.
Good
Not
job.
1, but 2.
Good job.
And I had to, just say, this is the way it has to be. I have to take care of my family, and then everything else have to come last. And it wasn't, it wasn't easy. The father, he was out there doing his thing. He didn't, it wasn't like, we're going to be a family. No, it wasn't like that. I think by the time my baby girl was 3 or 4, I think they had at least 2-3 more sisters or brothers. So, I mean, it's sad that the woman has to hold all of that, but we just have to step up to the plate and say, look, I don't care what this person say, I don't care what the world say, I made this mistake, but I can correct it by being the best parent I know I can be.
Antoinette, when they were saying those things about you, did you feel like a bleep?
No, because I knew that's not who I was. I just got caught up.
You just got caught up.
Yeah.
And you know something? We all have gotten caught up in anything. We're all college students here. So believe me, I've gotten caught up. My friends have gotten caught up. You get caught up.
Yeah.
When you're not even, I don't even want to say at this age, because people in any age can get caught up in different things. People in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, they get caught up in stuff.
Get caught up too. You're right.
They might not be caught up in the same stuff we're caught up in as maybe, the 18 to 29-year-old. But there is getting caught up. And that's one thing that all 6 to 7 billion people have in common in this world, is that we all have gotten caught up. Yeah. You have, and one of your children is a daughter, is that correct?
Yes,
you have a daughter?
2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy. What do you tell your teenage daughter about sex, being that you had children at a young age? Mm-hmm. What do you try to instill in her, being a woman and teaching her things about sex? What do you tell her?
Well, I told them both, education is first, number one. And I told them boys can wait, because they will always be there. I also just try to let them know that don't get so consumed with wanting to be with one person, one guy, and saying that's my boyfriend, because you still have your whole life to look forward to. You may go off to another state, another country. You'll meet someone else that probably will sweep you off your feet more than what this one did. So don't get too caught up in his world. Just keep your mind open and just stay focused on your education.
Kara, and then I have to get you all's opinions on these. Being young women at this university, both of you all with mothers, I know. What do your mothers tell you all about sex as far as women are concerned? What are some of the things that they tell y'all? Do they tell you some of the same things that Antoinette has told her daughter?
Yeah, just basically just protect yourself. You know, be smart. Don't just go in and, just all willy-nilly. Have a backup plan. But really, my mom taught us that we should wait till marriage, that our body was sacred. And just seeing her raise me and my sister by herself, it was a prime example of like, okay, she struggled, this is not what I want to do. So I had to know, like, I'm going to go to college, boys can wait, and everything is going to be planned out. And just her example of raising my sister really helped me just handle that situation.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Nim? What does your mother tell you about sex?
Pretty much the same thing, to be careful and be smart, because, like, even when you, like, watch and you see people, like, I've seen many people, like, get married straight after they get pregnant because, obviously, this is the right thing to do, panic, okay, let's get married. And it's like, it doesn't really make sense, and then you realize how the woman tends to, like, have to pause everything for herself in order for this child to, be able to be groomed and, like, brought up well. And it's a lot of sacrifice. And I know myself, anything can happen to anybody. You never know. You always say, I'm going to be careful and this and that, but it can happen at any spare moment. You can forget yourself. And it happens to every single one of us. Like, that's why I'm always like, you can't really judge people when things like that happen, because you don't know what happened at that particular time, what was going through, what they forgot and what they remembered, And it's just like, you have to just be respectful of everybody, but try and, like, just keep in mind of, like, what you're trying to, like, achieve and attain, and make sure, because I always say, like, I respect everybody out there and whatever they're doing, but, like, I know as an individual I'm not ready, because I'm not necessarily selfish, but I know, like, I'm just about coping with myself, and I don't know if I could cope with a second individual right now financially, let alone mentally and, like, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and emotionally, exactly. That's a lot of sacrifice. And that's why I really respect, like, the young women, because I have friends who are my age and they have kids, and, like, I have a friend who just graduated with a child. She came in at the same time as me, and she's graduated earlier than me. I respect that totally, because if anything, it puts so much more, like, drive in her. Like, she is flourishing. Like, she's gonna be able to, like, work and feed her child and be like, that is wonderful. Like, and I'm just me. Like, I'm about to graduate, and she's able to do that. Like, I respect that fully. Like, you shouldn't down someone just because of their situation. You don't know their history, their story.
I think that child gave her more to just look, I got to keep my eyes set right there on that thing that I desire the most.
Precisely.
And it is a lot. You have to make sacrifices. And like we were talking back in the the green room. We were talking back there. You were talking about traveling, and I was like, I have to put that on hold because now it's like it's about my education. I got my I have my 2 girls out of the house. They're out of the way. They're independent. I'm trying to make it. So my focus now is my education, and in a few more years, I can really be able to step up to the plate and just really, really do for my children the way I've always desired to do for them. I mean, not saying my kids have been raised in my house from the time I pushed them out up until they left to go to school. But it was just Christmas. A lot of Christmases were hard for us. It was like, we can only get this. Don't worry, we'll get something. Especially when tax time was coming around, we'll get it tax time. Then tax time come, you have more bills you have to push out to pay. So I mean, like she said, you just can't look at people and be like, we know what she been doing. No. You don't know what the situation was. You don't know. But I'm just very grateful that God gave me the mindset to be that mother, be that young mother that a lot of people, I don't think we heard recently, but back in the early 90s maybe, about girls, they having their babies at prom and stuff and throwing them in the trash can. That wasn't on my mind to do that. It wasn't on my mind to, I let the grandma keep the baby. I let such and such get the baby. That wasn't on my mind. I was like, I did it. I got to take care of my responsibility. So,
And on that note, I always say this in situations where there is a teen pregnancy or an unexpected pregnancy. No matter what, the baby's always going to have to go home with the woman.
That's right.
The baby's always going to have to go home with the woman. When the woman gets through pushing that baby out, daddy can hold the baby and say, yeah, this my boy, this my girl. But here's the mama saying, yeah, but he got to come home with me. There's certain, what do you call it, postnatal care that has to be done. Breastfeeding, man can't do that. Sorry. There's just certain things that the woman, the baby has to go home with the woman. It has to. And so, I guess maybe the fact that the man is not there going through the people, because the baby's not with him, so nobody's looking at him saying, oh, he's a teenage dad or he's a 16-year-old dad. No, the baby's always in the stroller with the mom, not with the dad. So that's just a lot of stuff that us men, we just don't have to go through. And maybe I think that's why in a society as a whole we're kind of insensitive, because we just don't get it. We just don't understand it. Y'all go through a lot when things like this happen to you all, and men don't go through those kinds of things. We just kind of sit back and kind of watch, not in selfishness, but as men, that's all that we're capable of doing. That's all that men are capable of doing. There's only so much we can give to a 2-month-old baby besides buying some Pampers or coming by to visit, or bring them by $100 or something for daycare. So I get it now. And I think the most important lesson I think that we want to try to establish here is just not to be insensitive, to understand that sometimes things just happen, and that no matter what you may think, that woman had help making that baby.
That's right.
The woman had help making the baby.
Right.
Although you don't see the help in front of you, the help was there. So it is 2 minutes past the hour here on 91.9 FM WLJS Jacksonville. We're talking about women in America, female empowerment. You're listening to Late Night with Ed Moore III, and we will be right back after this commercial break.